Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to take you on a cruise to Key West and Cozumel. We started out, however, in Fort Lauderdale, and here in Fort Lauderdale we joined Sea Experience for Emily's first ever snorkel trip, and there you just saw the first time she's ever jumped in the ocean with a snorkel. She did really well learning how to use the snorkel. The snorkeling in Fort Lauderdale wasn't quite as good as what we saw in Cozumel, but it wasn't bad. We saw plenty of fish, and we definitely learned how to use the gear. After we snorkeled, we took an Uber over to our ship, which is the Celebrity Constellation, and we left port right on time. We enjoyed exploring the ship, and we were very impressed with how smooth the ship was as we pulled out from Fort Lauderdale. Our favorite spot to hang out was probably right here on the fourth deck, where we could be in the shade a little bit, walk around a little bit, and still there wasn't too much commotion. The main deck, up on the 10th floor, was very busy. The food on the trip was fantastic. I was very impressed with the food. This is the buffet we're looking at. We had several dining options while we were there. We just saw the menu from the San Marco restaurant, which was serving the best food that we had. On our second day, we arrived at sunrise at Key West, right on time. In fact, everything on our trip was right on time. When we arrived in Key West, we rented a couple of bikes and rode around the island and saw many sights, including Fort Jefferson. We were really impressed with how clear the water looked here in Key West. That's me actually wearing a tie on the ship, and yes, I did dress up for formal night. I know it's unusual that I would wear a tie on a vacation. There were plenty of activities on the ship. This was a little dancing activity. I'm actually partaking in that activity right there. That's called the Olympics, and I'm on the red on the left. And this first event that we participated in was a synchronized swimming event. And after that, we had a little event where we raced our boats across the pool. There was also a little putting competition. Here we are back on the fourth deck. You see two other cruise ships arriving into Cozumel in the morning. We went with Tortuga Carey divers, and they were fantastic. That boat right there was super fast, super smooth, and we were the only two guests on it. This is our guide, Miguel, and Miguel did a good job of showing us what to look at while we were out there in the ocean, just off of Cozumel. We saw lobsters. There's an eel in there. We see a stingray in a little bit. We saw a turtle. We'll see that in a little bit. Emily really did a good job this time. She learned how to snorkel in Fort Lauderdale, and then by the time we got to Cozumel, she was expert. She also really liked using that noodle that she's got there. It was really interesting to dive down and get a close-up view of things. When you look at stuff from the top, there's a lot of green blobs, but when you get up close to them, you see a lot of detail. You see a lot of color. You see a lot of little creatures hanging around the coral, and that's where things really got interesting. I was very impressed with the way Emily was so brave to just jump right in like that. Here's our turtle. Look in the lower right corner. You can see our turtle coming in right there. We're going to get a close-up of him here in a second. Lower right corner, there's the turtle. I'd never seen a turtle underwater before. It was really exciting to see that turtle down there. This is one of the pictures that the Tortuga Carey divers took for us. They sent us a whole batch of about 100 pictures from our trip for free right after the trip. Again, you can see the detail in the coral. Here's some video that Emily took using the GoPro. All the video that we're seeing on this was taken using the GoPro. Hi, Emily. All those fish like to hang around with us. I think it's because the guides would feed them occasionally. So I think they recognize people as a source of food. Okay, here we see the stingray. You're not going to see it very well, so here, let me point it out for you. The stingray's right here. You see it kind of flying along there? It's pretty far away from me. Flying along near the bottom of the ocean, and he really looks like he's flying. This is Cozumel. Here's the view of our ship from Cozumel. Here's inside our ship. We're walking down the hallways. Notice the mirrors on the ceiling. It was pretty low ceiling, but with the use of mirrors all over the place, they made it look bigger than it was. We're going to take you inside our room on the 9th deck, room 9135. And you can see how the beds are split apart. You have the option of putting them together or splitting them apart. When we arrived, they were put together. But then our very excellent room attendant, Asap, he took care of splitting them apart for us minutes after we got there. That's the Celebrity silhouette leaving Cozumel as we watched from our ship. There were actually 6 cruise ships in Cozumel while we were there. Now here goes a Carnival cruise ship. I think that's a Princess cruise ship closer to us there. It was fun watching all the boats run around the big ships. There's actually a boat really close to that Carnival ship. That's the pilot. And they have a person who gets on the boat and helps guide the boat out of port. I did partake in some of the activities, and this is where I'm partaking in the volleyball. Our team was actually the championship team. We also partook in the Olympics. Go! And this is part of the Olympics where you race the boat across the pool. You can see the people we're challenging there were officers. Alright, watch the spike. Watch the spike. Here I go. I'm going to jump up and... bam! Yeah, that was fun. Unfortunately, the GoPro was underwater quite a bit of the time during these volleyball matches, so I didn't get a lot of good footage with the GoPro. I think if I had worn it up just a little bit higher, it would have done much better. Here's inside the ship. That's the Celebrity Eye Lounge, and downstairs in there is our library. Not very many interesting books in the library. And the Eye Lounge was actually pretty expensive to use, so we did not use it, which was good. It's good to get disconnected. Here we are on the 10th level. The Ocean View Cafe is the buffet.
Guys, I have never met this guy. I have never met this guy before in my life, okay? I'll give the guy the second floor. Now this is where I tell you this. That banana trick, that was nonsense. What you just saw there, guys, was real magic. If you would look at the news today, the futures are lifting, getting worse by the day. If more people could just work together like we just did, this world would be a better place to live in. Thank you. Good night.
Here we are leaving Cozumel. Watch the flag disappear. I think they only use that flag when they're in port. Once they pull out of port, the flag goes away. And you could also see our wake get much bigger as we pulled out, as we accelerated out. And now we're on the way back to Fort Lauderdale. It took a full day of cruising to get from Cozumel to Fort Lauderdale. We left here at about 5 p.m. and we got into Lauderdale right here at about 7 a.m. 2 days later.